Good evening, welcome along to the transfer show. Perfect timing as well, because one of the biggest transfers of this summer has just been made official. Liverpool fans, you have got your man. Florian Wirtz is a Red. That's exactly what the club have said on their X page. I've got Michael Bridge and Mark McAdam next to me to react to this big breaking news straight away. Michael, Florian Wirtz is a Red. What a huge deal for the Premier League champions.
Huge deal for Liverpool. Of course, they didn't spend much at all last season, but they are going to spend, and they have spent big this summer. They not only want to retain the Premier League, Jasper, they want to do better in Europe next season as well, domestic trophies as well. It's a huge, huge signing for Arsenal. Of course, the boost of Virgil van Dijk's new contract, Mo Salah's new contract last season, and more to come as well. What a phenomenal signing for Liverpool Football Club, and rightly so. They are very, very excited, the supporters.
And they've beaten some of the best teams in Europe to get this man, their main man, the club record transfer. Manchester City were at the table for Florian Wirtz. Real Madrid were also at the table, and Bayern Munich were very publicly interested in signing one of the best players in the Bundesliga last season. But it's Liverpool, the Premier League champions, that have got their man. We've been talking about it, haven't we, for the course of this week. And when he made that initial interest to Liverpool known, and he made it clear that he had one destination and one destination only for his next move, and it was the Premier League and Liverpool. That's where Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards went to town. They started to prepare an offer that they feel could satisfy Bayer Leverkusen, but also satisfy someone that has that kind of a price tag and convince him that the destination of choice was to be a Liverpool player. And after what has been a long week of negotiations, he came over to the UK last night. He started the medical this morning, and it's been confirmed by the football club now. When you talk about making an impact in the transfer window, when you talk about big signings and real statement of intents, Liverpool are doing it right now, not just with Florian Wirtz, but with Jeremy Frimpong. They're on the verge of Milos Kerkez. Yeah. Right now, if you're a Red, you are loving life.
And you've brought up something there. Last season, Arne Slot did brilliant with Jurgen Klopp's squad. We're now going to see a new look Liverpool under Arne Slot, aren't we?
Absolutely. I think this is a statement of intent, and it always reminds me of one thing that Sir Alex Ferguson always used to say: you strengthen when you're at your strongest. And that's what Liverpool are doing right now. That's what Liverpool are doing in the window. They are going to town to go and get the best players that fit in Arne Slot's system. And I think, yeah, this is going to be such an exciting summer, and there's so many more rumours that are jostling around as well at the moment that I don't think Liverpool are finished here. They've spent 100 million, which could rise to 116.5 depending on add-ons, but I don't think it finishes today. This is just the start of their spending, where they are going to build a squad that they feel is capable of challenging at the sharp end of the Premier League, not just for this season, but maybe they could dominate for 4, 5 or even 6 years.
Yeah, OK, we'll talk about the breakdown of the deal in a bit, because I've got some quotes now from Florian Wirtz that he's given to LiverpoolFC.com. He says, I feel very happy and very proud. Finally, it's done, and I was waiting for a long time. Finally, it's done, and I'm really happy. I'm really excited to have a new adventure in front of me. This was also a big point of my thoughts, that I want to have something completely new to go out of the Bundesliga and to join the Premier League. I will see how I can perform there. I hope I can do my best. I spoke also with some players who played there, and they told me that it's perfect for me, and every pitch is perfect. You can enjoy every game. I'm really looking forward to playing my first game, he says. And further down in the statement, he adds, when asked about his targets with the club, this is what he said, Liverpool fans: I would like to win everything every year. First of all, we have to do our work. I have to make my work. In the end, we want to be successful. Last season, they won the Premier League, so my goal is for sure to win it again, and also to go further in the Champions League. I'm really ambitious. Sounds it, doesn't he, Michael?
Yeah, absolutely. What I like about this signing, and what Liverpool fans will like about this signing, he only wanted to join Liverpool. And isn't that a dream for the Liverpool hierarchy when they've spoken about their transfer plans? This wasn't done this summer. This would have been done months ago, wouldn't it? I'm sure when they talked with Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, this is what we're planning to do next season. We're planning to spend big money on certain individuals. There's nothing better hearing a player say, I only want to sign for you.
Absolutely. And I think that's the key thing. In any transfer negotiation, any transfer between clubs of a player, particularly of this stature, you have to have the buy-in from the player. And the very first point in any transfer is the club will contact the agent and say, would the player be interested in coming to us? Yes or no? Because if that answer's yes, then that's where the work starts. If it's a no, very often the club will walk away because they're not going to waste time, resources and money to try and convince someone to join a project that they're not interested in. And that's the key thing. They got that green light from Florian Wirtz and his camp to say, yeah, I'm interested in Liverpool. I don't want to stay in Germany. I'm up for the Premier League. And that's when the wheels started in motion. But you're spot on with what you say, because they do not just go into the transfer window and go, oh, who's playing well? Let's go and get him. This is a long process that would have started from the moment Richard Hughes walked back into that football club alongside Michael Edwards last summer, where they start to look at what they've got, what they need, and how they can shape that club, not just for one season, but as I say, for many seasons of success.
Yeah, Liverpool have posted a video on their X page. We'll try to bring that to you as soon as we can to hear from Wirtz for the first time, Michael. But just going back to something that Mark said, I mean, this was a very strong team, and yet they've wasted no time whatsoever, which has been quite typical of Liverpool in the last few seasons, of getting their big moves done really early in the transfer window, or windows as it has to be this summer. But they seem to just go about their business really efficiently.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, look, I'm intrigued as well, because we're covering Chelsea tonight in the Club World Cup. We've got Manchester City in America at the Club World Cup. We still don't know how that will affect those two sides going into the new season. It's completely new. They won't really have a pre-season. And you talk about Liverpool, on holidays at the moment. They want to retain that Premier League, but I'm sure as well, I know how much the Premier League means to Liverpool Football Club, and more so because the last time they won it, there weren't any supporters. You could see how much it meant to them. But of course, Arne Slot will also want to make a mark in Europe as well, won't he, next season?
Of course. Liverpool's history is not just winning trophies, but going to the darkest, deepest depths of European competition. They've won the Champions League on multiple occasions. They had all that success in the 80s. Jurgen Klopp rejuvenated that team to show that they could once again go toe-to-toe with European giants and get to Champions League finals and win the Champions League. And that's now on the agenda for Arne Slot. He's not only creating a team that he thinks will compete and win the Premier League, but it's how can we go and do what Real Madrid do? How can we go and dominate in Europe? That's what is on our agenda now. That's what we need to do. And that's what we're building a team for right now.
OK, gents, let's take a pause very quickly, because Sky Germany's Marlon Urbacher is also on Merseyside reporting on the deal and told us what Wirtz will add to Arne Slot's side next season.
I watched him playing since he was 14 years old for the youth teams of FC Cologne in Germany, and he was always outstanding. He's a player, he's moving like a snake, he's on the 10, he's brilliant. He's, in my opinion, the best German player right now, better than Jamal Musiala, who's also a great player. But Florian Wirtz is different because he's also working defense. That's what Xabi Alonso told him every season, and I watched it in every training session, to be honest, and Alonso always took him like, hey Florian, you have to work hard, you have to work defense, and of course in the offense he's always brilliant. With the ball on his foot, he can do everything. So in my opinion, he's going to be a great player in the Premier League too, but it's more kind of physically playing style in the Premier League. So in my opinion, he has to learn that, because in Germany you have a lot of space.
Right, it's time to delve into some stats then. Liverpool have clearly strengthened, we know that, but let's take a look at what the Premier League champions have added, because we've got some of its league record from last season, some of his most impressive stats compared to some of the selected attacking players in the Premier League. So Mark's next to me here, and as we look through all of those, the thing that strikes me, Mark, is just how good he is across all of them. I mean, goals 10, so that's just behind Cole Palmer. Goals from open play 6, assists 12. So he leads Bruno Fernandes, Cole Palmer, James Maddison and Morgan Rogers in that category. You then look at passes completed. He's only second to Bruno Fernandes, but in the final third, he leads the way out of those 5. And he's well clear in terms of take-ons completed as well. 82 last season. That's more than a couple of them added together. So the consistency across those statistics really is exciting for Liverpool fans.
And that's exactly why Liverpool have gone and targeted Florian Wirtz, and you just have to look at the statistics there compared to the best players in and around his position in the Premier League. He's right up there. And I think what you see when you look at those is the type of versatility he offers as an attacking midfielder. He's someone that can play as a 10, he can play as an 8, but he can also play on the left or the right. So he brings a real depth of his ability in those positions that he can play. The take-ons, I think, is something that really stands out for me, as well as the assists, because by far he is one of those players that can get the ball at his feet, he can drive the team forward, he can take on the fullback, he can take on defenders and make things happen. And we know that Liverpool do a lot of their recruitment on statistics and data, as well as watching players. And his numbers compared to most of the other players in midfield, in those attacking bursts, not just in the Bundesliga or the Premier League, but in the top 5 European divisions, are some of the very best. He is, without question, churning in numbers for a 22-year-old that are unlike his counterparts. He's one of those players that can make things happen when he's on the ball, and he's been showing it in the Bundesliga. And Liverpool will be looking at these statistics, these metrics and this data and saying, right, if you can do this at 22 years old, working in our team, under our coaches, under Arne Slot, we believe we can get you to that top podium position. He was only bettered really in the Bundesliga last season by Michael Elise, but he was right up there with all of the data as well. So that is clearly an important reason as to why Liverpool have spent £116.5 million potentially with those add-ons on this player, and they believe he can fit into that system seamlessly. Some of the other things that they really appreciate about him is vision, is creativity. Obviously, Liverpool lost Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're not going to replace his creativity with another right-back, but they've got a more orthodox player that can do exactly what Trent did with his passing range, his ability to get balls in the box and the things that he can make happen. But he can do it in and around that area. When you're an 8, you're a 10, you can affect the game in a very different way. He's great technically as well. So someone who can be comfortable on the ball, someone who's clever in tight areas, someone that can make things happen. And you've seen from that data there, the end product is there. Goals, assists, big chances, key passes, all of those things that can change the dynamic and the outcome of the game, Florian Wirtz has. And that's one of the key things. Liverpool will feel he can get better. And that's exactly what Liverpool fans want to hear as well.
Absolutely. So young as well. He's only going to get better, isn't he? And when I see those statistics, look at that data, Mark, what really strikes me is just how much you can imagine him in this Arne Slot side. So a really targeted transfer. And, I mean, it's common knowledge that players, you know, clubs will go for players that directly suit their style of play. But you can just see from some of those stats that he is really going to buy into the way that Arne Slot's trying to make this Liverpool side play, isn't he? And actually, he's probably going to take them to the next level somehow.
He's going to be a player that will have a huge impact at Anfield, and you already start to think about those relationships that are going to be so key. If he's playing as a 10 and he's got Mo Salah on the right-hand side, if he's got Cody Gakpo or Luis Diaz on the left-hand side, and have a striker through the middle, and you can start to formulate and see the patterns of play and the way they'll work together, and they'll complement each other as well. And that's a big thing, as I say, that Liverpool do. They'll want to have players that can fit into the system and work with each other. It's not about individuals, it's about a collective. It's about how can the team be stronger? How can we get the best out of Mo Salah by putting a player in there that's going to help him do that? And in turn, Mo Salah can work with Florian Wirtz. So you're going to have players there that are all on the same page. And this can be only described as a really exciting signing for Arne Slot, for Liverpool, and for what they're trying to do with this team at the moment. This is huge news, and I think it's the brilliant way to start the transfer window when you've got a club like Liverpool, the Premier League champions, that are not messing around. And I know there were so many Liverpool fans that were frustrated last summer that they didn't do much business. But boy, have they saved their pocket money, and are they spending it now in style.
Yeah, absolutely. When we saw those stats, obviously they're from the Bundesliga. We're comparing them to players in the Premier League. Any concerns, do you think, about making that transition? You know, we see a lot of players, it takes just a little bit of time to adapt to the Premier League.
Now, ultimately, we don't know, because you can think you do all the homework and the research and the prep on a player and think he'll have no adjustment time. Sometimes they take a bit of time. Sometimes they can just come in like a duck to water and look like they were made for the Premier League. When you've got a player who's robust in the way he is, someone that's been in an exceptional side already under Xabi Alonso at Bayer Leverkusen, the seasons that they've just had have shown that he's got so much quality. And when you can come into the Premier League and you've got a physicality about you, you're so technically gifted, you don't get caught on the ball, you've almost got eyes in the back of your head because of the way you play the game, the way you visualise things, the way you can see things. Someone with his pace and energy and his ability to get around the pitch and that creativity, I don't think there's going to be issues. The thing is, with an investment of £100 million, the expectation on Florian Wirtz's head is much higher than players that are going for a lot less. So he will ultimately be judged by three things. How many times does he start? How much does he impact games? Key chances, creating things, assists and goals, and then ultimately what's in that Liverpool trophy cabinet at the end of the season. And they're the three things that he will be judged on.
Yeah.